Namaste. Sadhana Panchakam, verse 2. Sangaha sat suvidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktirdridhadhiyatam shandyadi parichiyatam dridhataram karmashu sandhyajyatam sat vidvanupasarpyatam pratidinam tat paduka sevyatam ब्रह्मैकाक्षरमर्थ्यतं श्रुतिशिरोवाक्यं समाकर्ण्यतम्. Seek companionship with men of wisdom. Be established in firm devotion to the Lord. Cultivate the virtues such as Shanti. Eschew all desire-ridden actions. Take shelter at a perfect master. Here, master means Guru. Every day, serve his lotus feet. Worship Om, the immutable. Listen in depth the Upanishadic declarations. In Sadhana Panchakam, through the 5 verses, Shankara enumerates 40 items that constitute the Vedantic sadhana. First 8 items we discussed the last class. Now we continue from the 9th one. Number 9. Seek companionship with men of wisdom. Generally, this is translated as be attached to wise men. That means satsanga. A mere physical nearness to, or even an emotional attachment with great men is not sufficient for their wisdom to flow into us. A complete companionship is needed. We must study and learn to adore and admire the ideas and ideals preached and lived by the masters. This way, our inner personality grows in size and depth, in its subtle sensitivity and reach. Then alone, the wisdom in the wise masters can flow and fill our hearts. It is indeed a rare and unique chance, if we get at all, to meet a wise man, a man of spiritual perfection. Such men are rare, but we can have their constant companionship. Indirectly, when we study the scriptural literature which they had left for posterity as rich and sacred heritage. Number 10. Be established in firm devotion to the Lord. Love, when turned towards the higher, is called devotion. In devotion, mind integrates and grows in its inherent powers. In love for the baser things, mind gets shattered and disintegrated. To turn our love towards the altar of the Lord is to turn the thoughts towards Him with effortless ease. For our thoughts always gravitate easily and readily towards our love. When devotion for the Lord gains in its depth and sincerity, more and more of our thoughts run steadily towards the Lord in our hearts. Our meditation becomes constant and continuous. We get ready to sacrifice easily everything that stands between us and our beloved Lord. To turn towards the one is devotion. To run after the many is love. Number 11. Cultivate virtues such as Shanti. There are essentially techniques for controlling the mind running out through one's sense organs into the sense objects, and for controlling the gush of sense stimuli from outer world into our mind through the sense organs. In each one of us, the senses are the doorways through which our mind runs out to roam among sense pleasures, and also the inlets through which the sense stimuli gush in to raise storms of passions in our mind. When these two are controlled, the mind is not disturbed by the sense objects, nor the mind is made to have by this influx of the tempting stimuli. Naturally, mind becomes extremely calm. When mind is calm, our intellect gathers a greater brilliancy, a sharper comprehension. Such a purified mind intellect is the inner instrument for longer contemplation and deeper meditation. Number 12. Avoid all desire ridden actions. Actions by themselves are harmless, but when they are desireless, they can flush out our personality of all our vasanas. When actions are performed with selfish desires, they tend to gather more and more the tendencies. Here, tendencies means vasanas, and they in their turn can initiate endless other actions, each riddled with a growing amount of desires, passions, appetites, and lusts. The end result of all this is to cloud the potential divinity in an individual, his total cultural breakup, hurtling him down from the dignity of a man into the dark abysm of ugly pain generating levels of sheer animalism. Number 13. Surrender to a perfect master. A perfect master is not merely an erudite scholar in the Upanishads, that means Srotriya, but must also be well established in the experience divine, that means Brahmanishta. A mere book knowledge is not sufficient to communicate this subjective science to the seekers and to help them move out of their gloom and sorrows into the light of realization. Surrender to such a guru. Carefully note here that Adi Shankara has never asked us to seek a guru, which we cannot. In our present state of imperfection, even if we meet one, we may not be able to recognize him as much. Therefore, let us surrender ourselves to the way of life indicated in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. Let us truly surrender ourselves to the rishis of the Upanishads and the Lord of the divine song, the Gita. To attune our thoughts and actions to the declarations of the masters in the scriptures is the only true surrender unto the Guru. Number 14. Daily serve his sandals. Service of the Guru must be a continuous way of life. And this service is not a physical seva, but must be our dutiful service to his sandals. Here, sandals means paduka. The Guru stands on his paduka. Serve that upon which the Guru stands. The platform he represents the program of devotion he preaches. Let us day by day strive to live a constant and sincere contemplation of the one infinite self, which is everywhere expressed as the life that is throbbing in every living organism. Number 15. Worship Om, the immutable, the Supreme Self, the timeless essence, the one infinite truth that expresses as this universal, the universe of names and forms, is indicated in the Vedas by the sound symbol Om. This is not a mere name. Om is not truth. Om indicates truth. Your name is not you. Your name indicates you. You are separate from your name. The national flag is not the nation. The idol indicates the ideal. Thus, Om indicates a state of consciousness other than our present ego state. And the students in Vedanta are advised to worship Om as a symbol of the self. Further mental purification. By chanting, doing japa, and by devotedly adoring the Om symbol, our mind gathers its wandering rays form, the jostling, oscillating world of things. Beings and happenings, and mind becomes quiet, vigilant and alert. Such an alert and vigilant but quiet mind is the instrument for steady and deep meditation. Therefore, Shankara insists that Vedantic students would do well if daily they would worship Om, the immutable. Number 16. Listen in depth the Upanishadic declarations. The Upanishads contain the entire mystic knowledge of the Hindus. The subjective science of the self, the life. Here, the Upanishads directly from a teacher giving discourses upon them and indirectly by our attentive study, and we can gain a superficial knowledge, a mere work meaning of the statements. But the rishis are trying to point out by those chosen sacred words a state in yourself which is to be explored and experienced by each of us all by ourselves. This discovery of our own spring of consciousness in ourselves can happen only when our minds ride upon the Upanishadic statements and we learn to glide into the timeless, the supreme state of consciousness divine. The cardinal declarations in the Upanishads are vehicles upon which mind can take off into the worlds of contemplation and learn to land safely upon the field of the infinite.